Hello, this is Manish Patel from the EII Capital Group. This is our weekly analysis for the futures market, where we cover corn, oil, oats, soy, gold, silver, natural gas, and everything else out there. Today is October 17, 2010. Let's begin. This is our normal disclaimer to state this is for educational use only. All charts are either in Thinkorswim, TradeStation, or freestockcharts.com, and music is from Guitarra. Okay, here are my contact details. You can follow us on Ichimoku Trading. Let's begin by going to our heat map for the futures market. Basically, we have a rating system here, Ichimoku rating system, where 5 to 8 is being bullish, -5 to -8 is being bearish, where 8 and -8 are at extreme. We'll give you the two time frames. Reason why, as a trend trader, is whether you're swing trading intraday or whatever may be the case, you kind of want to follow the trend unless you're a counter trend player. Okay, so if you look at wheat, there's conflict there. That's changed now, so you can see that the daily drastically changed from last week. If you look at soybeans, they're still very strong. Corn is still very strong. Sugar is still very strong. Coffee has gotten weak now. Oats are real strong. So everything on the commodity side is still very, very strong. The only thing that's kind of gotten weak is wheat and coffee. Okay. So you kind of waiting to see exactly what happens in those. Gold is still very strong. You could see that we broke the 1350 level. Looks like we're going to 1400. Silver's very strong. Platinum got stronger this week compared to last week, so that's interesting. Crude oil still got conflict among all the time frames, so it just seems like it's going in the consolidation pattern. Natural gas is still very, very bearish. It's a normal story for natural gas. So let's go look at some charts and go from there. Just see how many charts we could go through in a short amount of time. So let's just start going through it. Let's go look at crude oil first. If you look at crude oil, we outlined all the resistance levels. Last week we had this resistance level here. Pretty much we hit the top of last week's high, bounced off that, and kind of came back here. Remember, this is just consolidating on a weekly time frame. The reason why is Chical's in price. Until the Chical comes out, there's not a chance for this thing to go bullish unless it really, really breaks hard to the upside and kind of gets to 88. If it gets to 88, then the Chical comes out, and now you got a chance of it going to 90 very strong. However, you still got probably about 2 to 3 more weeks before this thing goes to the top side. The Chical comes out and then has a chance of breaking this consolidation pattern on the weekly. Okay. If you look at the daily, you can see that basically we closed below the Tinkinson, just consolidating at the top here, right around this resistance level here, and then so we're just sitting there consolidating right at the top of the Cajunson, around the Tinkinson level. The more we consolidate, the weaker this thing's going to get. Reason why is the Chicago would get close to price. Okay, so let's go look at next future pair we're going to look at. Let's go look at cotton. Cotton's still very, very strong. Look at this huge move up, then pull back. That's not a good sign there. Let's go look at the daily time frame. You can see that big bar up down there. So that was a pullback, major pullback that occurred on Friday. So it went all the way up, opened up high, and then basically yanked down lower. However, it's still bullish because we have not crossed the Tinkinson at all. Okay, so this thing is still strong going bullish. Okay. US dollar, you can see the US dollar on the weekly time frame. The Tinkinson's going for the cloud. We expect a pullback here anytime now. This is a major resistance level here that it kind of stopped at right here. Yet to close below it, and if it does, then we'll see what happens. But if it does, then it has a chance of going all the way down to this level. But right now, it has yet to close below it. Okay, so we gotta wait and see what happens on the US dollar index. We'll look at gold futures in a minute. Feeder cattle, you could tell that we're expecting it went down. We expected a little pullback up and then it to go down. So when it gets to this level here at 110 or so, is going to be a key level to see exactly what happens to this guy. But we're kind of expecting this thing to go down more. Okay. But remember, we won't know until we see some price action to kind of confirm that. Copper still very strong going to the top side, like all metals. You could see there's very, very strong going to the top side. Heating oil, if you look at the weekly time frame, pretty much have consolidating. It really needs to break out of this level here. If it breaks up to that, breaks this guy here, 2.358, then it's got a potential going all the way up there. on a daily time frame. Sorry, on the weekly time frame. So it really needs to break above that level right here, the 2.35. If it does, then this thing's gonna go and start trending really, really nicely to the top side. In fact, let's put an alert here so that we will know and we could tell you on Twitter when it does. Okay, so we've done that. Let's move forward. Let's go way back to weekly time frame. Heating oil looks like a good potential of trending soon. Coffee, as we talked about, looked like they had conflict. Let's see, we're waiting for data. There we go. Starting to weaken, you could see that it's not trending anymore. It's kind of weakened to a little. Reason why it's right here. Little consolidation pattern there, and you could see from the daily time frame, Chicago's bearish. There's conflict among the daily, so that's why coffee's kind of getting weak. However, it doesn't mean anything here. The weekly is still very strong bullish. So by the end of this week, if the extra Chicago comes out, pops out of this, then we have a chance of continuing the trend. So if we actually break this level here, 191.79, we got a high chance of it sitting there going higher to the top side. Let's put an alert there, and so we could come back to it. Lumber, let's go look at lumber real fast. Lumber's still strong on the bullish. If you look, it's in the cloud here. It's at a major resistance level here, and kind of expected to exactly what it expected to do. It's been following the cloud going up, but look what happened at resistance level. It bounced right off it and went down. So we gotta wait and see what happens in that one. Live cattle, this looks like a bullish scenario here, and it looks like it could sit there and go higher now and start trending. So this guy looks like it may close above the resistance level. If we actually go higher than this bar high here, live cattle is now going to start a trend going to the top side. Okay, let's go look at platinum. If you look at platinum, it closed below Tinkinson. It's weak, but still, if you look at the weekly, it's not as gold and copper and all of them. We're kind of expecting a pullback on this because the Tinkinson has not followed price at all. Also, Chicago is in the cloud, so this is not as strong as gold and everything else out there. Natural gas, if you look, it's going to the bearish side, and this thing now has broken its resistance level and looks like it has a possibility of now going to retest the lows. So it's interesting going into the winter season that this guy looks like he wants to go lower. First level you're going to see is probably going to be here at 3.38. 6, so that's going to be interesting to see what happens at that level. So if you ever locked in your natural gas rates, you could wait and be patient. Gasoline, you could see on a weekly time frame, it's consolidating, so it's just going to go back and forth. Let's go look at mini gold futures. You could see that it's still going on very, very strong on a weekly time frame. Nicely trending. Let's go look at 30-year treasury bonds. If you look at 30-year treasury bonds, we're pretty much got to the Tinkinson, pretty much consolidating here, kind of retested this high right there, bounced off that, and looks like we're going lower. There's a high possibility we're going to get to the Tinkinson now, and you could see from the daily time frame that price is trying to get below the cloud. In fact, what it will probably do is go below the cloud, then it'll pull back, and then it may go down lower. But we got to wait and see what happens. But Chicago is in the price. This thing looks like it's consolidating, but it looks like it's trying to turn to the bearish side. Okay, and lastly, corn. You could see corn, big jump up on a daily time frame. Looks like it's retracing to the little, but you could see that this thing is still very, very strong to the top side. Okay. And we talked about that. I think we recommended on the blog a buy signal on corn because it had a huge potential. It got to our level here, which we were expecting it to, and actually blew past it to got to this level right here. And then, if it keeps on going, this thing's gonna have the potential going all the way up to here. But we gotta wait for a pullback now because of the huge gap that occurred. Okay. That's it for this week's weekly video for the futures market. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or feedback, please let us